My man Adrian hitting me with 31 stamps to get this box out to me. So when you're really digging, you're trying to fill in those spots in your run, there's something that you just can't fill in, you're missing one of those keys for a run or a series or a character that you really like, reaching out to the comic book community or being a part of the comic book community really has its benefits and pays off. That's what makes this hobby such a fun thing sometimes. There's such a great group of people that you can interact with that will help you fill in your runs. So what I've got here, these are two sellers, I think. Fairly local. One guy is actually not too far from here, but both were online, filling in, oddly enough, some horror stuff for me. So personally, I think the Marvel horror stuff from the 70s is just awesome. They do such a good job with the universal monster sort of characters, Dracula, the Mummy, a werewolf, that sort of stuff. And underappreciated. You can get these books for really good prices. So these guys, by watching their Facebook sales and direct stuff, I was able to grab some really awesome key books that I was missing from my collection. All right, these next two need no introduction. Not huge keys, minor keys, but I'm putting together a pretty good run of Dracula stuff. The first run of Dracula is so much fun, really good. Obviously introduces Blade, which became a bigger character than even Dracula was. Starting off, we got Tomb of Dracula 19. This is the first mention of Blade being immune to vampirism. Nice thing about this one is they also included, I don't know if you can see it there, a breakdown of what they think the grade would be on something like this. Nothing official, but is just kind of nice to have. And they've graded it as a 4.5. This thing with a clean and a press gets a bit of a bump. I think I can handle that. We can get that up to a 5. In line with Dracula, we got the final issue. Again, nothing major about this book. This is just end of the first Tomb of Dracula run and Death of Dracula. Doesn't stay dead. All right, next. Again, major character key, but a minor key overall in Marvel. This is Giant-Sized Creatures #1. It's Werewolf by Night, but featuring Tigra. If you've been reading the current Moon Knight run, Tigra has been integral to the Moon Knight story that's going on right now. Great character, really cheap pickup. This says 25 on here, but I actually got it for cheaper than that. So, okay, the Facebook auctions are kind of funny, especially with the Marvel horror stuff. People let them go by, so I was able to grab that for cheap. All this stuff I got really cheap, like I said, just by being part of the community and recognizing what I wanted to pick up, what I needed to fill those gaps in my collection, and managed to do that. This one, my Werewolf by Night collection, is almost complete. I have all of the major keys except for issue #1. I've got Spotlight, first introduction of Werewolf by Night. This is issue #4. This is the first Darkhold in Marvel Comics. Of course, happens in Werewolf by Night. Had to add it to the run. This is the last key, like I said, except for #1, the last actual major minor key for Werewolf by Night that I need to get. So nice to add this to the collection again. All right, then we're going into some books that, not Marvel, DC this time. DC horror, sort of. Yeah, I guess horror. With what James Gunn is known for doing, bringing in underappreciated characters, you could say, or lesser known characters, I think there's a lot of room, and this is an awesome character with an awesome first appearance cover. But before we get to that, we got #7 of The Demon. This is the first Clarion the Witch Boy. Yeah, #7. Dope book, really cheap. Minor key for sure, and it's in rough shape, but for $3, couldn't pass it up. Alrighty, and this is the big one, Demon #1. Great book, like I said. Look at that Jack Kirby awesomeness on the cover. Great. Says 80. I think I paid 40 for this, and that's Canadian. Book is in pretty good shape. This is one of those books that lately has been going up and up and up and up as more people are paying attention to this character. One of my favorite characters in DC. I don't love a bunch of DC characters. Obviously Batman, Green Lantern, I love Green Lantern. But I like the Demon too. Demon is awesome. So pick that up. Again, this was a local seller, part of the comic book community. He's super active and is a hunter. This guy is always out digging, looking for deals, and obviously finds some great stuff. So he's got some great stuff to turn around and sell. So happy to add that to the collection. All right, so these next couple books are actually not just keys or minor keys, but actually filling in parts of my collection and making it more robust. Some series that I'm collecting that are hard to get the early issues. Of course, we are talking about Avengers. Avengers 20, nothing really key about this book. It's just an early Avengers issue. Kind of a cool cover with Cap coming off the roof from Swordmaster. So this is one of those things with early Avengers issues, because they can get pretty pricey. I'm kind of happy to grab any of these early books if I can get it in good or better. They said this is about 3.5. It definitely, like I said, needs a clean. It needs a new bag and board, but they're probably right. It's a 3.5, maybe a 4 on a good day. Happy to add that to the collection and fill in some of that early run. Keeping in that, all right, these next two books are from my buddy Adrian. Adrian sent me that box with all the stamps on it. Adrian is a serious comic book hunter. This guy will find deals online. He goes out, tracks them down, even if he's got to drive a couple hours, and finds some great deals. These next two books were in a recent pickup of his that he basically showed up. The guy had a box of comics. He told the guy, like, I'll show you what these books are in a second. He told the guy, you've got some key books here, some important stuff. And the guy said, I don't care. I just want to get rid of it, right? I just want to sell it. So he bought the whole box for 75 bucks, showed me what he had got, and I had to try and snag a couple of these books, made him an offer. We went back and forth, not too long, and had a deal. So we've got Avengers 16. This is, I guess, a minor key, you would say. This is a lot of people joining the Avengers roster officially for the first time. I think Hawkeye, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch. It's also an early Kang appearance, and it's just got that awesome Captain America cover. I'm not a huge Captain America fan, but obviously super important to the Avengers mythos, and you can't get away from some of those awesome covers. This is, again, it's in the good range. Unfortunately, somebody did write their name. Barry wrote his name on there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll get a close-up. But it does have a cool story, at least. The guy that he bought the collection off of, this was his comic when he was a kid. He bought it off the newsstand, and him and his friends used to trade comics back and forth. So they would write their names on their comics so they knew whose was whose and who to give it back to. So this was Barry's Avengers 16, and now it's mine. I don't mind having the names on the book if it's got an awesome story like that. That's pretty cool. So not just Avengers that I collect. I also collect Fantastic Four, and getting some of the key Fantastic Four books, as you know, is very pricey. Anything that's key under issue 100 gets real pricey. So he got some books in there that everybody knows, and I couldn't steal away the big book from him, but he was willing to part with the other part of the set, which is still, again, awesome Jack Kirby stuff, and a fairly iconic cover, although not the iconic cover. Fantastic Four number 50. Was this Third Surfer, Second Galactus, and First Wyatt Wingfoot. So awesome. I'm super stoked to be adding this to the collection, and Adrian gave me a great deal on these books, so I can't be mad at it. Again, it's a low grade. It's probably a 3 to 4. Yeah. Solid 3.5, I'd say. But great. These books, especially with the news that Fantastic Four is coming to the MCU, are going up and up and up and up and up. So getting in on this book now, well, I can still afford it. I tried for the $49, but he wasn't having it. That's okay. The price that he got those books at, he deserves to keep that book. That's the prize, for sure. But I'm happy to pick this one up. Alrighty, and the big book for me, not Adrian, but another comic seller from the community. Like I said, reaching out to these guys, being a part of the Facebook groups and the selling groups and Instagram. get in there wherever the group is at. Even if you don't have a lot of people locally, you can find them online. Being part of the community is awesome, especially when you can pick up really awesome key books like Werewolf by Night 32. First appearance of Moon Knight needs no introduction. I have a copy of this already in about the same grade. Again, it's probably a 3.5. It might be a 4. I have this already. I've got it signed by Doug Mensch and Perlin. So I'm happy to pick another one up whenever I can. Below the fair market value, again, just by being part of the community, reaching out to these guys, being part of their sales, making deals with them. I think this person had it up for sale, and we kind of negotiated back and forth and landed on a pretty decent price. Maybe 60 or 70% of the fair market value. So I got in at a good price. Super happy to add another Werewolf by Night to the collection. So in regards to Werewolf by Night 32, I do just have to say, with the news of Don Perlin's passing recently, I'm super happy to be adding these books to my collection. I always make this mistake. I don't know why. I do have 32 signed and slabbed. This is Doug Mensch and Al Milgram. But I don't have Perlin on 32. However, I do have Don Perlin on 33. I've got this video up. I'll link it down below. If you want to check it out, how I got these books. I got these books at a ridiculous price. But better than that, I was able to send these books in to a facilitator who had the creative team sign both of these books. So these books are from the same collection and went out together and got signed together. So a truly linear set, not just that I picked up a 32, 33, but from the same collection and got them signed by the creative team. So I've got my linear set. Sad to see Don Perlin have passed away, but I am happy to have the signature already, and always happy to add more Werewolf by Night to my collection.